He's really startled by everything. He's really just, like, you can see the anxiety on him all the time. They just put him on fluoxetine. They started him on a 5 milligram dose. It made him basically sedated. He wouldn't eat, he wouldn't do anything. So I was like, that's really not like the solution I was looking for, because like I don't want him to be anxious, but I also don't want him to just not be a dog.
Right.
We just reduced his dose. He seems to be a little bit more energetic now, but definitely still not like a dog. And like, so basically what I want to work on is like whatever's making him so stressed out all the time that makes him like reach this point where he just like reacts. My sister takes care of him when I'm not home, and like he knows her and he'll still react to her sometimes. Or he'll react to my mom, he's familiar with her. He'll react to other dogs on walks. And sometimes he won't, so I don't know what is triggering when he does actually react to a dog, or when he does react to somebody in the apartment or something like that. I can't figure out what is making him get to that point.
It's not consistent.
It's not consistent. I cannot like, I know there's sometimes it involves like where I think he feels like he's possessive of something. So maybe like it'll be near where his like his cages, or it'll be where like maybe he has food. But otherwise, sometimes it's just, I cannot figure it out. Sometimes it will just be somebody's walking by and he was laying down, and I don't know if he gets startled and reacts, or something happens and he'll just get up and like lunge and like growl.
Do you think it's fear? What do you think it is?
You can see in him, he is a fearful dog.
Okay.
It is for sure fear, because like everything seems to put him like, you can see it all the time, that something's stressing him out or making him like anxious or nervous about something.
When did you start seeing this change? Like, when did you start seeing him get fearful and like this?
Okay, so I brought him home at like, I think he was 5 months. He had been in a hoarding situation. So I think maybe he had some reactivity with dogs before then. I brought him home for a few days, he was fine, and then it just...
That's when he...
Yeah.
Okay. Did you have any information about him before?
Except for the fact that he came from a breeder who was like hoarding dogs, and he was kind of like in a kennel with like a bunch of dogs, and like, aside from that, no, I have no information about his history. For those 5 months, I don't know what was going on with him. He's healthy, he's fine. Like, it's not like he's in pain and being reactive. He's not sick being reactive. So it must, I just feel like it's some kind of stressor.
So what are your biggest problems? Like, on an everyday thing, like what are your biggest problems that you're dealing with?
My biggest problem would be going on walks and not knowing when he'll react to a dog. That's my number one, especially in an area like this. And then my second thing is, I can't have people over without knowing what he'll react to with them. I want him to like be comfortable around people and like understand that it's okay to socialize.
Yeah, he's reacting almost randomly.
Yeah, like I'm interested to see when you guys go in if there's like a reaction there.
Me too.
Yeah. It has something to do with space, which is why also I decided to have you come here, because I think it's like a personal territory.
Yeah, I think if you would have came up there, he wouldn't have barked at all.
Exactly, yes, and that's what's so confusing to me. I don't get it.
Well, if you look at the different variables, you have to play like investigator. Outside, we're walking. We don't have a problem with people. We don't see people as a threat. Inside the apartment, we see everybody as a threat other than you.
Yes.
And so it comes down to why. My goal is, well, A, to figure out what we're dealing with, but if I were to guess, judging by all the dogs that I've worked with, and it doesn't matter if they're a Pomeranian or a Great Dane, a lot of it is confidence. Okay. So if he feels the need or desire to react the way he does when people come in, that's because he's like, I gotta protect this place.
Okay.
Natural for dogs to do. Very natural, common. It's not even a bad thing. It's just, we want to be able to instill more confidence in him, and with your relationship, that he doesn't have to do that all the time.
Okay.
And more importantly, let's say, okay, he's gonna react when somebody, I don't even think it's fair, or I don't think it's fair for us to even think like, okay, let's just never have him react when somebody hits the door and comes in. I think it would be more fair and realistic for us to say, somebody's at the door, how do we de-escalate the situation to empower him to do something different and to help him become more confident. So it would be like, Biggs, go to your place. He goes to his place, sit, stay. You let that person in, and then he realizes it's your sister, or he realizes it's whatever. And then you give him a break or whatever. But I think oftentimes if you get a dog that's insecure and you give them the power and the ability to make decisions, they're gonna do what they feel. So the first thing that comes to their mind is, this is how I feel, this is what I'm gonna do.
Okay.
Kind of like kids, they just, oh, this frog looks tasty, bang. Or this rock looks bang, and it's like
Yeah.
they don't even think, they just do.
Okay.
And so like with dogs, it's the same thing. It's dang, dang, dang. Oh my God, somebody's here. Nobody knows what to do. And then he runs to the door, he barks, oh, it's just you, and he walks away.
Yeah.
Or he recluses, he puts on the brakes, and he's like, okay, sorry, my bad. So it's not even like, I don't think it's realistic or fair for anybody to just say, I want him to sleep when somebody bangs at the door.
Yeah.
It would be more like bark, bark, bark. Okay, thank you, somebody's here. Because go to your place, or come, sit, stay. So
Okay.
countering with obedience. And what that'll do is it'll decrease the overall reactivity. So
Okay.
you'll get less of the barking and the huffing and puffing and the 10 minutes of like, hold on, my dog's not done yet.
Yeah.
But then also you'll be able to build confidence in him to not feel like he has to do that. If any dog is running actively at the door, barking hysterically, it's because they're like, somebody's here, we got to take care of this.
Yeah.
There's some dogs that, like my dogs will bark. Somebody bangs on my door, rings my doorbell, my dogs will, out of suspicion and out of just being an animal of like, somebody's here, we've conditioned this noise with somebody being here, they will bark and alert.
Okay.
They won't necessarily run to the door, but they will say, hey. Basically what it comes down to is they're like, owner, get the door.
Yeah.
Where what he's doing is he's like, I got it.
Okay.
You need to be like, thank you for so I think there's part of like reality of like, I want him to let you know somebody's here without him taking care of the situation and handling it because he's not confident to do that.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like being fair. Like I agree that dogs are going to naturally be like on alert because they've been conditioned to do that.
Yeah.
But like I said, I think down the road what we can do is we can try to decrease that reactivity and how long it lasts by being able to get him more confident. And our job is to say, hey man, thank you for letting me know somebody's here. Go to your bed. I got this. Got it.
Okay.
And then he goes and does that. So there's obedience, but there's also confidence. So my job and what I want to do for him is to say exactly that. Is to say like, thanks for letting, I don't like, it would be weird if, especially for a smaller dog because they're like, they have little man syndrome a lot of times.
Yeah.
So it would be weird if he just slept when somebody banged on the door. And there's going to come a point where you're going to be like, really? You don't even care that somebody's, it'd be weird, right? So I think it would come down to, I don't want him to, like, it's almost an unhealthy reaction. It's not a normal dog reaction. It's like, not only is somebody here, but I gotta feel and act and look and sound like I'm gonna take care of this situation.
Like he's just on alert. Like
Right.
he is waiting for something to happen to react at.
Yep. And a lot of it is, and sometimes what it'll come down to is the dog will just be sitting there and just chilling, and they're like, you're hanging out with your friend or your family or whatever, and you don't even realize it, or maybe they definitely don't, and he's like eyeballing them, and then they move to get up to go to the bathroom.
That's
and
exactly it.
Yeah.
It will be that they get up to get something, they get up to go to the bathroom, and suddenly it just, because he will just be sitting in a corner chilling, and then something sets him off.
I want to know, what are you doing when he rushes the door, and what are you doing when somebody gets up and he barks at them?
Okay, so right now when he rushes the door, I have like a gate put up so it stops him from going all the way there. But my last trainer told me to just have him sit and give him a treat. So he starts associating someone coming in with treats.
Yeah.
That hasn't changed the reaction. It just means that now he reacts, but he knows also that afterwards he's gonna sit and get a treat.
Right.
It hasn't eliminated the behavior, he just now sits afterwards and that's what.
Right.
And when he reacts, then I just put him like in his pen or in a different room.
Okay. Have you corrected the behavior at all?
I've said no or like stop,
Okay.
but it doesn't, I don't know if he's like understanding that it means like no.
Yeah.
I think he just, he'll just get it out of his system and then stop.
So I work with people online consulting. I come to people's places all over the world. And one of the biggest deciding factors of like a lot of problem solving is you have a dog that you're responsible for. And just like that puppy that's, pulling the owner down the road, here's what's going to happen with that dog that's pulling the owner down the road is that dog's going to turn 90 pounds and she's not going to be able to walk her dog. So my point is the low end foundation of we're not teaching and correcting and modifying behaviors for ultimate sustainable growth and like a pattern of like, this is what I want you to do instead.
Yeah.
They don't learn from that. So like you said, is if we're telling him no and we're picking him up and we're moving him over here, what's going to happen at the end of the day is he's not going to learn that that's not okay.
Yeah.
So by correcting the behavior, and correction is like, there's so many different ways to do that. So many different ways. But at the end of the day, if he's like, I got to handle this situation, I'm in charge, oh my God. And you're like, what are you doing? No, you're not. Take a seat, pal. Like correcting him with like a slip collar or a slip leash to say, hey, knock it off. So you have to have both ends of the spectrum, is when he reacts and he's like, I'm going to handle this because I feel like I need to because I'm not confident that you can. You have to advocate for both of you guys in the relationship to say, that's not okay. He stops reacting. It's discouraging and disrupting that behavior. He's like, whoa, what gives? What did I do?
Yeah.
He stops barking. That person walks one more foot in, and then you have an opportunity to say, yes, good sit.
Okay.
So then he's learning like, oh, it's not the sitting that gets me paid. It's the not reacting that gets me paid.
Okay,
So
yeah.
you're like with your other trainer, reward-based training and positive reinforcement is powerful. It's just as powerful as positive punishment on the other end of the spectrum, correcting behaviors. But what a lot of people miss is reward behavior. Like, okay, that puppy was dragging that owner. That I talked to her earlier. It's a 14-week-old puppy. Dragging the owner down the thing with a harness. And I don't care if you use a harness, martingale, no leash at all. Whatever works for you and your dog. But harnesses don't help modify, teach, and sculpt behaviors. They help you hold on.
Yeah.
It's cute and funny when the puppy's that age, but like I said, as soon as that puppy becomes 6 months to a year, she's not gonna be able to walk that dog.
Yeah.
And she's gonna be like, what happened? And you're gonna say, you've allowed this to happen this whole time.
Okay.
So my point is this, is the moment you say, hey, this is how we're gonna do it. We're gonna heal, I'm gonna teach you how to heal. But in your situation, in your circumstance, it's the same principles of, I'm gonna teach you not to bark, and then I'm gonna reward you when you don't bark. You gotta have that balance of what you wanna do.
Yeah, because I guess technically I was rewarding him after, like I think maybe he associated just the sit part rather
Right.
than the, yeah.
So we get this question a lot, is like, I read or I heard, and of course I always talk about this, like, you go on the internet, you can find anything you wanna find. You just look what you wanna find and you'll find somebody supporting it.
Yeah.
So you gotta read between the lines there. But oftentimes what I hear is like, I heard, one big myth and theory is if you correct a dog as they're reacting at somebody or another dog or a bird, that they're gonna associate that somebody or other dog as a negative.
Yes,
And that's-
I have heard that.
A lot of people have.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, that doesn't make any sense, because if I have a dog right here and another dog walks by and they go, rah, 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 and I go, leave it, correction, disencouraging that behavior. They go, hey, I didn't like that. The dog is still right there. Every second that dog is still right there and this dog is not barking is not associating the two whatsoever. It's the behavior that caused the correction. Just like positive reinforcement. If I bring a dog out and I say sit and the dog sits and I pay them, that's the same thing as saying every time I get to this square, the dog is gonna associate the sit command. No, it's
Okay.
not. It's my voice that's actually telling the dog to sit.
Yeah, okay.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
So when a dog is passing and I say leave it, bang, and then the dog watches the other dog, they're not getting punished. If another dog walked by and I said leave it, bang, and the dog stopped barking, and then I sat there and kept correcting the dog, they would say, every time that dog is out, I get corrected. Nope, every time you do this, you get corrected.
Yeah.
The dog has nothing to do with this equation,
Okay.
right? Does
Yeah,
that make sense?
I get it, yeah.
So I always like to talk about those situations because I know a lot of people like yourself, like a dog owner who cares and is trying to do better, are looking at these, these informations. But so what we're gonna try to do is essentially long-term, say tomorrow, is somebody walks in and he goes, hey, even I'll leave you with the things that you need. I don't know what we're gonna use for tomorrow. And when we walk in, you're gonna say, hey, leave it. You're gonna correct him, and you're gonna pair it with a leave it, right?
Mm-hmm.
The minute he's like that bark, leave it, bang, he stops barking, we'd say, yes, good, leave it, and then we'd pay him.
Okay.
So he goes, oh, so it's not necessarily the person that came in caused me to get paid. It's when I turned this on and turned it off is when I got paid.
Okay.
I'm gonna keep that sucker off because I wanna keep getting paid.
Yeah.
So the next time I come in, you say, leave it, he's like, zoop, pay me, bang, yep, you got it.
Okay.
And so your verbal is what actually turns that on and off, and it's not the leash and it's not anything else. The leash just helps enforce it. The leash just says, hey, if you don't, here's some punishment for that. I don't want any dog, and I know you don't want your dog to mentally feel like they have to act like that.
Yeah.
Like this dog. Like I wouldn't want a dog to look out on a beautiful patio on a beautiful day and say, there's people down there I must destroy.
Yeah.
What a life that would be. It'd suck.
Yeah.
I don't want that. And so we need to go in and say, hey, that's not okay. They're just people.
Yeah.
And then they stop barking. You're like, hey, and then they realize like, oh, I don't have to do this.
I see him sometimes, and I think he's like a really loving dog. Like loves to cuddle, and once he like warms up to someone, he loves getting pet, and he like loves being loved, but he just seems so stressed that like I
Yeah.
think that's what's hindering him.
And a lot of that is taking a dog that's not secure with themselves and giving them a job that they can't accomplish and they can't do. So it's like taking the most nervous person in the group and say, hey, you're the leader. They're like, you want me to? I'd rather, it's not good, right? Because then it's not a good experience.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I want the person that like knows this place by the back of their hand. I want them to give me a tour and show me around and confidently build me through things. So
Yeah.
that's kind of going to be the goal, is to take him off that pedestal. Right now he feels like he's on a pedestal because nobody's telling him he's not.
Yeah.
I think the best thing to do is we'll follow you up.
Okay.
You'll go in.
Yeah.
We'll wait 5 minutes.
Okay.
And then I'll come in and I'll do what everyone else does, is knock or ring the doorbell, and we'll come in. I just want to, I don't want you to do anything different because I'm here. I want to see everything.
Okay.
Because that's the only way it's going to be beneficial. So don't do anything different.
I won't.
Do what you normally do. Like if
Okay.
you tell them no and you tell them to leave it and you pull them back, do it. But I want to see what you normally do because that's the only way I'm going to be able to help you. Okay, cool. So what we're doing is after kind of hearing everything that these guys are working on, I'm going to have her go in and we're going to try to reenact like a realistic meet and greet of me coming in, or like a guest coming into the house, because I want to see exactly what she's dealing with so we can really audit and figure out what they're working on. Small little baby bark.
It's okay. Come here. Sit.
Oh.
Oh.
So that's what we're normally dealing with.
Yes. Yep.
What do you think, buddy? What do you think? He's so cute. What do you think, buddy? What do you think? So has he ever bitten anybody? Like, is he committed? Okay, good.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
He's definitely lunged like he's going to, though.
Yeah. Aren't you so tough? Aren't you so tough, Biggs? Are you a tough guy? Are you a big tough guy? I'm not so sure of the camera, huh?
Oh, wait. That's new.
So that's just like, the camera a lot of times does that.
Hey.
So like, here's what I would do.
Hey.
Is I would go over and like just put a little slip on.
Okay.
This is a slip leash.
Oh.
Well, I can do it for you. So then if you get that little like reaction or something, you can start correcting him and just saying like, leave it. So you can say leave it, and then you can pop this is just a slip here.
Okay.
So you can just pop this.
Okay.
And what that'll do is, hey, leave it. Good, leave it, buddy. Good, leave it. That's where you would like pay him.
Okay.
Good, leave it, Big. So like, see, leave it. He's like, don't tell me what to do. Good, man. So what you want to do is you want to just be able to correct him for that behavior when it happens.
Okay.
So, hey, leave it. Good. See how he's building here? Hey,
Yeah.
leave it. Good, leave it, buddy. Could leave it. When he finds guests, like, and this is good because the camera is what's doing it for him. He's like, what the heck is this? Which is good for us. Because I don't think if we didn't have that, it wouldn't be happening as much.
Yeah, that was new that he hasn't done.
So, again, he's, in his mind, he's stranger danger, get out of here. I don't know you. Why are you here? So he's trying to fend them off, but he's also trying to say like, hey, leave it. He's trying to say like, I'm uncomfortable with this too. What I like to do is, come here. I know he's stressed. Come here, Biggs. Yes, good man. Oh, so sweet. Yes. Good man. Very sweet. So what I like to do is when he reacts like that, you just tell him to leave it. And then again, we talk about like reinforcing things. So when we say leave it and he's like still barking through that, you would just, like if he builds, you would just pop him on the collar and say, hey. And so he starts to go, like, basically think about it like this. His behavior's here. Somebody comes in, he starts like this. You need to stop it like right here and correct it down.
Okay.
and basically stop it from peaking. And then he diverges, and then he realizes everything's okay. And that will help him become more confident. Because right now he's not being corrected for that behavior. So that behavior, unless it just goes away on its own, it's not going to change.
Okay.
Because it's how he feels.
Yeah.
So what you need to do is just tell him, like, and you could do a lot of, I just like doing it on a leash. Like, honestly, you could go over him and just touch him, and he'd probably like disengage and stop.
Okay.
I'm just like touching him with the leash just to say, hey, snap out of it, man.
Yeah.
It's not hurting him, of course. It's just popping him, and it's discouraging the behavior from happening. Good man, Mr. Biggs. Good. He's like, well, I don't know these people.
Now, and he's like looking at the camera and he isn't growling again. Is that now because he's getting comfortable, or is that because you think it got corrected?
I think both. I think that's kind of like the point of this is being able to say, and that's like, you know, again, and that kind of comes down to, if you read different things on the internet, you'll find people say like, you should never correct a fearful dog. Mm-hmm. And in my experience, I would agree to some extent, like, you shouldn't ever, you know, try to correct a dog just to correct a dog when they're acting out of fear. But when you get a dog that's fear barking and it's habitual and it's nonstop, and you're like, he's stressed, he's on medication, you know, it's difficult to do everyday things with him because of it. When he barks, he's going, hey, you, get out, my house. Nobody knows what they're doing. Mm-hmm. Nobody knows who's in charge. And then you come in and you go,
yep,
quit it, knock it off, man. And then he goes, and he sits, and then he goes up to the camera, and now he has an opportunity to overcome what he was afraid of.
Okay.
Because he'll basically just sit here and ride this fear out until either that person leaves or until they sit down, and then he's like, all right, I'm cool with you sitting there. And then as soon as they get up, boom, it happens again.
Yeah.
You want to create confidence with him by disrupting the build. What's going to happen is when he starts to build and he starts to say, hey, somebody's here, this is what we need to do, you need to be able to say, hey, leave it, and correct him for it. And then immediately he should go and drop down. Make sense? Okay. And then over time, his instinctual response isn't going to be to react, because you've trained him that that's inappropriate behavior. And hopefully he'll say, like, I've done this 100 times without reacting. Why should I start again?
Would you suggest, like, I have him on the leash when somebody comes in to, like, practice what we just did?
Well, yeah, good question. In the beginning, yes. So in the beginning, your leash is going to be your training wheels, and you're going to have to work on this. Okay. But more importantly, you have to use your verbals. Okay. So fast forward 2 weeks from now. Yeah. We're going to be working on the place command, which is sending him to his bed. Yeah. We're going to be working on the leave it command. I can see somebody coming in, him kind of getting like this type of thing. You're going to tell him, Biggs, go to your place. He's going to go to his place. You're going to tell him to stay. He's going to stay there. He's going to growl a little bit. He's going to huff and puff. You're going to say, leave it. He's going to, oop, okay, I don't want to get in trouble. That person comes in. He's like, all right, cool, we're cool. And then he doesn't react. And the more you do this, you know, the better he's going to be and the calmer he's going to be. Okay. So like this, you know, him calming down after the 10 minutes just tells you that it's just an entry response. Mm-hmm. It's stranger danger, somebody's here, which is totally normal, but the problem with him is it bleeds into other parts of his life. If you take that template of stranger danger and I'm nervous, he's applying it to other places in life, like the walk with other dogs, etc. So my point is it's not even about somebody coming in, because you know, arguably that's very normal and natural and even fair for him to do at some occasion, and it doesn't take him long in these circumstances to calm down. Mm-hmm. However, when he's out, like, you don't want him to also become fearful, but you have to advocate for him, because living in a city, and even 10 minutes I've been here, I've seen dogs just rush up to each other, and that's where you have to say, like, oh, hey, my dog's in training. Okay. Just do the best you can to be polite, be firm, and also avoid, like, at all costs, because there's people who just don't pay attention. Yeah. What I would do is, he's a little nervous, like, he's just an insecure dog by nature. Yeah. That's okay. So when you see other dogs around, you know, you're going to try to avoid those situations, but at the same exact time, you're going to make sure that you're advocating for him. So if somebody looks like they're coming up, or if somebody isn't paying attention and their dog is coming up, you either run away, you know, go away, not literally, but Or you just tell, hey, like, hey, can you grab your dog? My dog's a little nervous. And then
Okay.
they'll just be like, oh, and then you just, you go away and that's it. And I know that that's like sometimes uncomfortable for people to do or even hear, or you don't want to cause a stink with anybody in your building, but people are just, it's ignorance and disrespect.
Yeah.
Like the people who just don't know, they don't know. And if you tell them, they're like, oh, okay. And then other people are like, and so it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, like he's telling you like, hey, I don't want dogs to come up to me because I'm nervous.
Yeah.
And that's okay. So you want to have realistic goals. Like if he doesn't, you got to find the right dogs for him to play with too. Like he's got to have the right dogs to approach him. Because I know the next question is like, is there any point he could hang out with another dog? And the answer is yes, but it's got to be the right dog. Like I said, living in the city or just living in general, like in different places, like you have to look at the ROI on passing somebody you'll never see again and having your dog potentially meet them and it potentially goes good or most likely going bad. It's just like, it's not worth it.
Yeah.
So I always just like avoid those situations.
Okay.
And it's okay to do that. All you're going to do is like pop it.
Okay.
Like you're not going to pull them. You're just going to say, I like to say their name. So like Biggs, leave it and then correct him.
Okay.
And because he's going to go, oh my God, you're moving. And then that's where you come in and you shut it down.
Okay.
And if that behavior is shut down over and over and over, and so I'll get up and then if he reacts, you're just going to say, Biggs, leave it. And you're going to give him a little pop. And I'll sit down here and we'll do it again. Just hang out here for a second. What you want to do is you also want to move him to his own space to gain confidence in himself too.
Okay.
So like right now he's really like on top of you,
Yeah.
you know? Like he's really like next to you, which will create, for an insecure dog, that'll create more of that like protective side to him.
Okay.
Yeah. So a lot of times
Oh,
like
okay.
like you said, like he'll run to the gate and then he'll like run backwards because he can't fight that fight,
Yeah.
you know? So what you can do is we'll work on a little place command.
Okay.
Like a bed, and we'll send him to his place.
Okay.
And so that will also give him some confidence. It'll get two things. It'll give him a job. So you can say, go to your place. He goes to his place. He's like, yeah, I'm here. Cool. I got something to do. And he's doing something. Where right now, he's like laying at his owner's feet, and he's just like sitting there just, what are these people doing here? What's going on, right?
Yeah.
So if somebody gets up or somebody moves or somebody sneezes or whatever, he's like, hey, right? So what you want to do is like, hey, here's your own space. You're going to chill out here. And it's gonna give him that independence. It's gonna give him that confidence to be away from you because you don't want him to feel like he's got to protect you because he's so close to you.
And if we put like his bed there, right, and he goes to his place, sometimes I worry that he develops possessiveness over that. Like, do you think that someone like coming near his space then would?
Yes, the answer is yes, but like at the same time, you got to be reasonable and just be like, okay. I think at the end of the day, I think what we need to do is we just need to correct the behavior when he does that because it's just like I think that's going to be that's going to be huge for you.
Yeah.
I really do.
It is.
What I want to do is I want to work on some obedience because I don't think we're going to have any problems anymore until we come back later maybe, but make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so I think going back to your question earlier about would you have the leash on when people come over? In the beginning, yes. So if somebody comes over, you would work on place. That would be like the first thing. But the reality is like when you're training, sit, down, heel, stay, wait. All of that is going to be new. They're not going to do it perfect in the beginning. They're not going to do it off leash in the beginning. It's going to take time.
Okay.
So what you want to do is you want to try to get the leash on before somebody comes over, kind of like what we did. Hey, give me 30 seconds. Let me go put this leash on the dog. So I want to teach my dog something. I want to help my dog with this.
Okay.
So it's not necessarily like I have to put this on to help. In the beginning you do because you have to teach. Like these are the things I need to teach this dog right now. So leave it, correction, leave it, correction. In the future you say leave it. And they're like, okay, my bad.
Okay.
Right? So that's going to be the end goal. So in the first week, 2 weeks, put the leash on. Your voice is what says, hey, this is what I want you to do. And then the correction is reinforcing to that. In the future, you're just going to say it, and he's going to be like, you've enforced that before. I believe that you will follow through and hold me accountable for this.
Okay.
Therefore, I won't do it. Therefore, oh, it's just Mark, or it's just Jim, or it's just your sister, whatever. And I'm okay with that. Like most dogs I work with that deal with this behavior, he's sweet, he's lovely. He doesn't mean, see, that's the thing, is like he doesn't, and I know that you know this, but I feel like dog owners such as yourself, like, and maybe so, maybe truly so, that other people think like, what's wrong with your dog? To me, I'm just laughing inside like, oh man, you really think that we're a problem, you know?
Yeah.
So I know that he's a sweet dog and he doesn't mean anything. All of that is out of fear. He's what I call alert barking.
And sometimes I feel like afterwards he's confused too. He's like.
Yeah, and I think what it comes down to too, as a dog owner, you have to remember that dogs are animals. They really are animals, and they can live in the wild and survive for the most part. You know, they're animals. This is your nice apartment right outside of Manhattan in New Jersey doing your thing. This is your life, right? Your sister's next door, like you're working, like this is you. He's an animal. He's not seeing any of that.
Yeah.
He doesn't care about any of that. He is like, this is my property, my kingdom, my boundaries, my throne. You are my person. Anybody that comes into this threshold is a threat. That's my sister. What the? He doesn't see it like that. He's like, oh, what do we do? Somebody's here. So you have to like change that up to say, okay, I get it now. Like I'm starting to understand like a little bit more about my dog, and I'm starting to realize, especially with Biggs, that when somebody comes in, you can't look at it as it's just because he's like, this is our house.
Yeah.
It's like somebody walking in the shower with you. You're like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
That's what it is for him. He's like, this isn't okay.
Yeah.
And you have to teach him like, hey man, this is not your shower.
Yeah.
This is where we all live. You don't have to kick everybody out or try to think like you do. Like you just chill, relax.
Right.
Okay, so I think what we'll do is we'll start off with the place here.
Okay.
All right. So I'll take those treats if he'll work with me. Please.
Okay.
Biggs, come on, Bubs. Come on. Come on. Come on, buddy. Come on. Good boy. Yes, a good boy. Good boy. Good job, buddy. Just move this over here. Biggs, place. Yes, good place. Good place. So essentially that's what that looks like.
Okay.
Okay? You do that 100 times and he's going to understand what place is.
Okay.
I'm going to explain this a lot because when I leave, this is important that you do it. That's what all these programs are. You come to me, I come to you. It's for me to reset you.
Yeah.
Figure out what's going on. Then it's your job to get to it.
Okay.
So you're going to say, Biggs, place. He goes there. Yes, good place. And then we're going to give him a break. We're going to put him back on.
Okay.
At some point, you should be able to say, Biggs, go to your place, and he runs to his bed and he stays there.
Okay.
So again, we're going to work on this, 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 we're going to do distractions. And then later, when we come back over, you're going to have something for him to do.
Okay.
Right? So you're going to say, Biggs, go to your place. He's going to say, yeah, but hey man, we worked on this, right? It's a command. It's still like, it's fun, but he's got to do it.
Yeah.
You know? Brick, good man. Good job, bud. Biggs, place. Place. Yes, good place. Okay, break. Break. Good. Okay, so one thing we might recommend. Oh, yes, buddy. Good man. Biggs, place. Place. Yes, good place. Good place. Now, if he didn't go to his place, I would just give him a little leash pressure, but he's doing really well. Good place, buddy. Place. Yes, good job. Good place. So that enthusiasm I love. This is place, right? Which was good.
Okay. Biggs, place. Good boy. Oh, good
Yep,
place.
Yep, there you go. Good place. So then break.
Break. Biggs, break. Good break.
Good.
Oh.
And just walk right off.
Oh.
Just walk with him. Good.
Good break.
Good. And then back over.
Biggs, place. Good place.
Good. And then break. So don't give him any pressure when he's like on his way to do stuff.
Okay.
So when he's breaking, no pressure. When he's placing, no pressure.
Okay.
This is there to enforce things. This is there if he decides to say, hey, I'm going to come over here instead and take this treat that we So try to have it on his terms. Yes, buddy. Good place. Good man. Biggs, let's go. Break. Break. You give a little leash pressure if he gets lazy like this. Come on, Biggs. Yes. I don't blame him, though. You know, he's like, this is a nice bed. All right. So we're going to do this again. Biggs, place. Yes. Good place. Good place. Okay, Biggs, break. Come on. Come. Him doing this is very common. This is like, no, I don't want to.
Okay.
It's like if you grab a kid here and you're like, hey, we have to go, and they're slapping your hand. They're like, I don't want to go. That's him just not wanting to work. A, he doesn't know me. Makes sense.
Yeah.
And B, he probably just doesn't work because he's not used to working.
Yeah.
Biggs, come on, break. Good boy. Good break. Come on. Good man. But if you can't, if you have to give him pressure, you can, but you try not to.
Big place.
Yes.
Good place.
Good.
Good.
All right, now let me see what your stay looks like.
Should I drop the leash?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I think he's gonna stay.
Stay. Good stay.
And then just rattle the handle behind you. Good. Now go over and pay him for staying. So good stay, and then give him a little. Yep, just like that. And then a break.
Big break.
That's okay if he doesn't. He doesn't get it yet. That's fine. These are the types of things that when somebody comes over, so say, what's today? Wednesday?
Wednesday.
All right. So let's say when we leave, you work on this a couple times. You know, you can do the place break 5 times and end it. Half an hour later, you can do it again and then end it. Half an hour later, you can do just practicing wrapping. Okay. And then what we want to do after that is continue to do that, and then that's one of the things we're going to start asking him to do when somebody comes over.
Okay.
So you basically have a answer for everything that he does. He lunges at the door. Nope. Place. Stay. This is what we worked on. What are you doing? We've done this 100 times, literally.
Yeah.
Right. And then leave it. If he barks and he's in his stay, which will, hey, no barking. What's the deal? What's going on? And then eventually he's going to go to his place. He's going to not bark. You're going to say, yes, good, no, good, leave it.
Yeah.
Good stay. And he's like, this is way more comfortable for me. I'd rather just wait here than anything.
Yeah.
But right now, again, he's at the gate. He doesn't know what to do. So the next question I usually get is, okay, well, what if I come in with somebody? Then what do we do? You put the gate up and you say, go to your place, and maybe the place is over there now. Because the place, realistically, like with my dogs, I can say, go to your touch. And my dogs will literally, like a mile away, I'll say, and they'll go there.
Okay.
So you want to be able to have the place anywhere, and he's just looking for it. He's like, is it in here? Is it in here? Is it over here? You know,
Because usually, like right now, I would have expected when you walk past that, normally he would have got up and growled or something.
Mm-hmm. So you're already seeing,
Yeah.
you know, a structure. It's me because I'm teaching you how to do structure, right? And so instead of like doing what he normally does, he's like, I'm just going to chill. He'll get tired faster.
Yeah.
And it'll be good. It'll be good. But anyway, so let's play this out. Let's just get right into it. So I'm going to walk out.
Okay.
I'm going to wait 30 seconds. Let's give him a break. Go hang out somewhere over there with him.
Okay.
Anywhere. Have the leash in your hand. Let him chill.
Okay.
I'll do a minute. I'll give him a minute to chill.
Okay.
And then what you're going to do is I'm going to go bang, bang, bang. You're going to put him into his place. You see how you just did this exercise here? I did that on purpose.
Okay.
So you're going to say place. You're going to say stay. You're going to come. You're going to let me in. I'm going to come in. And I'm going to walk right by him. And you're going to tell him good stay if he does good. If he barks, you're going to go over and grab the leash. Tell him to leave it.
Okay.
And this is practice for later today, tomorrow, later tomorrow, and forever.
Who's that? Who's that? Place? Good place. Good place. Good place. Say. Leave it.
So right when,
Leave it.
yeah, so let me see.
Leave it.
So right when you get the bark, leave it.
Okay.
Leave it. Good.
Good boy.
Good. So you just want a little bit more umph on that.
Okay.
Because those were pulls still.
Okay.
They were like pull up, pull up. You want to pop.
Okay.
That's the difference between it working and not working. I know that it sounds like, it is. It's just like hard to explain. It's like that fine line
Okay.
of like just kind of like tugging on him versus like snapping him.
That was less barking, right?
Yeah. I mean, it decreased the duration of the barking. I think we can definitely get it better. That's good. We'll give him a little break. One thing dog owners have a huge problem with is that correction.
Okay.
And that is going to be the difference of any of this working and it kind of working.
Okay.
So like he'll stop because you're nagging at him, like, you know, you're like tugging at him. But really when you correct, you want to be able to snap him, like not snap him, but you want to be able to just pop, like really get his attention. And you're not doing it hard. You're just doing it fast and you're just trying to get his attention. You know, you're not trying to like hurt him. You're just trying to snap him out of it.
Yeah.
But right now, like I'll show you with the slip.
No. Hey.
Leave it. Leave it. Leave it. So see his little
Yeah.
teeth chatter there? So that's he's just
What?
fearful.
Okay.
He's just telling me, hey man, a little much. And that's okay. I
Okay.
respect that. It's okay. Good. Shake it off. But that's where you have to have that, that correction.
Yeah.
To where if he does this, that's where, if I were somebody else, you would correct him. You'd pop him. You'd say,
Okay.
hey, leave it. And he'd say, oh, my bad. Pop like this. So this is just the slip.
Okay.
So this is your tab that kind of goes up and makes the slip the size of the dog's neck.
Okay.
All right? So when you put it on, you're here. And so what you want to do is you want to really pop that like this.
Okay.
Right now you're kind of like coming up, you're hitting this capacity, and you're pulling back, and you're pulling back.
Okay.
So you want this to be loose, and as soon as it's loose, you pop.
Okay.
Like that. Like this is a correction, this is a correction. What you're doing is you're coming up here, you're holding, you're releasing just a little bit, and you're holding again.
Okay.
And you want to pop it.
Okay.
Because you're trying to have that urgency of like, that is not okay. Okay, we'll put this back on this little feisty boy.
Okay.
No, he's being fair with me. See how he's, hey, leave it. He's letting me know. I mean, he's telling me, hey, I'm not okay with this. He doesn't, he's just, he doesn't, and I don't blame him. Like, he doesn't like that forthcoming thing. I don't, I respect it,
Okay.
If he doesn't like it, that's okay. But you're not expecting people to come up and do that anyway. I should say, like, nobody's gonna come and do what I just did.
Yeah.
Put their leash on and off him. And when he's coming after me like that, he's coming after me, but his intentions are to just warn me off.
Good place. Good place.
All right, good. Break. Now
Break.
what I want to do is I want to do this again. So give him a break.
Break.
Just give him a little. That's okay. I'm gonna do. Shh, shh, shh.
Eh.
So give him a. Yeah. So what you
Oh.
do? Shh, leave it.
Leave it.
Leave it. Like that.
Okay.
Leave it. It's okay. And there's like when you get a dog that's doing this, you have to have this. You have to have this, I guess empathy and respect for him telling me I'm not okay with this.
Okay.
What he's not okay with is your decision as a human to say, is this appropriate or not?
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So like if I'm coming down here just to take this, to move it, and he's like, I'm gonna try to bite you because of that, that's not okay. That's not appropriate.
Yeah.
Right? That's where you would correct him for that. Why don't you do place it, stay, come and let me in, and go right back to the leash.
Okay.
Okay? Instead of hanging out the leash. See how he does.
Big split. Come, place. Place. Good place. Good stay.
Yep, and then just go back to the leash.
Okay.
That's nice. Good. How was that?
That seems better.
Okay? Just keep working at it. That's good.
Yeah.
So he barks, leave it, correction. When he stops, good, leave it.
Okay.
And then that'll turn down that reaction. And just heavily praising him and paying him and lots of positive reinforcement when he doesn't bark. Good, leave it. Like
Okay.
if I'm a new person, which we'll do later, we'll have other people come over.
Yeah.
But you just want to heavily, pay him for that.
Okay.
Because you're flipping a script on him. I mean,
Yeah.
this is something that's going to take, a couple weeks for you to really get down. But you're telling him, I don't want you to do what you think you're programmed to do. And I don't want you to do what you've done for the last year and a half or whatever, how long you've had him and he's been doing this. So this is difficult for him. It's not going to be like that. But as soon as you start to see like a little bit of progression, you're in.
Okay.
As soon as you start to see, oh, he can get a little bit better. If he can get a little bit better, he can get a lot better.
Yeah.
Anytime you start to see him go, oh, that was better. If it gets a little bit better, it can go huge. So now this is where the rubber meets the road. We have a couple guys coming over from the Dog Trainers podcast, actually interviewing me for a podcast, and I decided to bring them in as a realistic distraction. So this is exactly where the owner really needs to focus to make this as realistic as possible. So this is where the big test comes in. Let's see how they do. That's good, no barking, yay. I like what I hear. Good, leave it.
Leave it.
Good, good. So,
Leave it.
good. There you go. Good, good, leave it. Tell him good, leave it. Good. Yeah, good. So the barking kind of picked up
Yeah.
when he couldn't see me, and then as soon as he saw me, he decreased the barking. So that was good. It's good though. It's a lot better, and he didn't get out of his place.
No.
So see how he's air scenting here? So he's smelling. Abby, see, look.
Yeah.
See that? So that's good. So that's him kind of saying, "Do I know you?" So he's yeah. So that's good. It didn't seem like the barking got him excited. It was more of the like hearing me.
Yeah.
As soon as I said something, he's like, "Wait a minute." So interesting. Okay, so we got a couple guys. Like I was telling you, they're filming some stuff. So we're gonna take advantage of them.
Okay.
And we're going to have them come in one by one individually. But I want to work on your place and your stay first.
He only seems to understand place once I'm like standing right here.
That makes sense. That makes sense. It's not going to make sense outside of that yet.
Okay.
So you have levels, okay? And these levels are going to be, these levels,
He's ready.
he's like, what are you doing back here?
He's ready.
So these levels are going to be incremental. So you go level 1, sending him from here, level 2, sending him from here, level 3.
Okay.
Sometimes it takes people 2 weeks to get to level 3. Sending him to his place and him understanding that will take you a lot of time. Okay, let's go. Place. Yes, good place, buddy. Good place. Oh, good job, big man. Okay, I'm gonna walk.
Okay.
I'm gonna ring the doorbell, but you're just gonna work on that stay.
Okay.
Cool, now when I come in, let's see how he does. Good stay.
Good stay.
There you go, buddy. Good man. Good man. Good. Okay. Let's get him off there and let's get him out. What does he normally do? What does he like to do? What are his hobbies?
Well, lately it's just been sleep.
Here, I'll
because he's
take
been
him.
on the medication.
Oh, shoot, yeah.
Yeah, so that's all he's really doing.
Now, prescribed medication with dogs is something I run into a lot because all I specialize in work on is behavior modification. And there is times and places in certain dogs that need medication for their mental health. However, in most cases, I find medication being prescribed to dogs just because they don't know what else to do. So you have to be mindful and cautious whenever you're going to the veterinarian with behavioral problems. I've seen this a lot. In Biggs' case, he just needs leadership. The owner needs to change to help this relationship get better. He doesn't need medication, in my opinion. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna wean him off the medication for tomorrow, and that way in the future, this dog doesn't have to be medicated and sleeping all the time. We're gonna be able to go in and hardwire and really modify his perception at life and make him a more confident dog. There's a good boy. Sit. Yes. Down. Oh my God, so cute. So I just want to, what I'm doing is I'm spending a little bit of time with him because I don't want to, because I know that this is overwhelming for you. I'm sure it's overwhelming for him.
Place.
Good
Good
place.
boy. Sit. Stay. Good stay.
Good stay. So just grab the leash.
Leave it. Good
No,
stay.
you're good right here.
All right.
Good, so see his nose going. So we
Yep.
talked about that. That's very, very good. That's exactly what I was talking about.
Okay.
Is he went from reaction to suspicion.
Yeah.
He went from, I gotta get to you, to, who are you?
Yeah.
He went from, I think I need to attack you, to, hey, who's that? 2 little barks, sniffing, laying down. That's what we're talking about. Very, 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 very good. But it takes away off the table. Like, you don't need to do that. Normally it would be,
Yeah. This. I mean, this is a huge change.
from this, a couple things I want you to tune up. The first thing is when you're doing this, it's you and him.
Yeah.
Don't worry about anything else.
Okay.
When you have your sister over or anybody else, it's like kids. Like I have a brother who has 2 girls.
Yeah.
And he doesn't care who's in the room. He will discipline them. Hey, pay attention, right?
Yeah.
Pick up your, it doesn't matter. He's not like, excuse me, can you pick up your mess when the freaking guests are here, right?
Yeah.
It's very like, so when you're telling him what to do, don't ask him. So there was a couple times where you were like, play, like just say, Biggs, place, stay,
Okay.
sit, stay, whatever.
Okay.
Don't have that like, please, please, please.
Got it.
Because then he's gonna feel like, well, why are you rocky right now?
Okay.
Are you nervous? Why are you nervous? Oh, why is he? Now this guy's here. That guy must not be good or whatever.
That's good. Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
That was That
Okay,
was
good.
way different.
What we're gonna do is we're gonna have these guys come in a little bit. We're gonna do it again.
Okay.
This time, work on your, So it makes place. 30 seconds, yeah. Good. Yeah, so see his, and then if he, yeah, but that's okay. So like that goes from, that was perfect because that was like, hey, do I know you? Do I know you? And he made a decision not to bark. And at any minute, he can go, oh shit, and then he'll bark. And then,
he's like,
right, he's on the edge.
yeah.
But he's making a better decision. Good. Perfect. And then you just do the same thing.
Place,
Nice.
sit, stay.
Perfect.
Good stay.
Much better. He's like, what the hell is going on?
Hello. Come on. Good. How are you? Good.
Good. Yeah, and you can. So a little leash.
Leave it?
Yep. Good.
Nope. Place. Good. Good.
Good, good, good. And then you just hang out there with him. Because if you stick him there, this will give him that accountability. Like if you let him off right now, he may try to make a bad decision to say, I got to check this person's ID. I didn't check his ID.
Yeah.
Right? So you keep him there and say, hey, chill. Maybe for 30 seconds. And then you're like, okay, break. And this is the critical part where a lot of people will make a mistake.
Okay.
Is they drop the leash, they take the leash off, you go and sit down, and then one of these guys gets up and boom. Then, and you're like, whoa, what the hell happened? It's like, well, you went from level 1 to trying level 5 out of 5. You don't want to do that.
Okay.
So now so don't make that mistake because you'll be frustrated, you'll feel like there's regression, there's not.
Okay.
You just don't want to take that extra step.
Okay.
So right now, that was good.
Yeah.
So he did the same thing, so come on over and just hang out on the couch.
Good, buddy.
Good. And then now here's where you're going to work on your stay.
Okay.
So when you walk away, tell him to stay.
Oh.
No, you're good. Yep. So go in. Now you
Okay.
can grab him. Now you can grab him.
And do place again, right?
That's right. And that's why I was telling you to tell him to stay.
Place.
Good.
Sit.
Stay.
Stay. Good stay.
Now just good. But do you see what I'm saying? Like before,
Yeah.
you didn't tell him to do anything. So
Yeah,
and
okay.
you don't have implied anything with him. You tell him to sit and stay, and this is what I want you to do, and he does it. So
Oh, okay, good.
laying down, good, good. So it's very, very good. So now what you can do is you can go up and give him good stay and pay him at that, but keep him in that stay. So you're reinforcing the behavior in the behavior.
Good stay, buddy.
Well done. Good.
Good stay.
And you're just paying him in position. Hey, man, good.
Good stay, buddy.
You're trying to really single out and isolate what's right and wrong.
Okay.
It's called operant conditioning. So it's like, hey, this is really great. This is not great. And the minute he does not great, you're on him.
So, okay, in that instant, like normally right now, when she would have walked by, he would have absolutely got up and tried to snap. If he did snap, would I have just gone over and
Right.
Okay.
Right. And we're doing this duration because I feel comfortable with this duration considering his behavior. Now, if these are dog people, right?
Okay.
So it's different. We're around dogs. We work with dogs. We understand. So we are, the best of what you would want in the room. We're not like, oh, hey,
We're not your cousin.
Yeah.
Yeah. My suggestion wouldn't be to leave him this far with people who aren't dog people. My suggestion would be maybe keep him here in a stay, and then you can grab him. But because again, you want to hold him accountable, and the most important thing with that is you want to be on time. Because if he barks and goes after Abby, you're going to get there after the fact, and then
Yeah.
he's going to be like, what the hell? So you got to make sure, and then that's where we can talk about in the future, maybe some remote collar stuff.
Yeah, that was my question because I wouldn't be able to get to him.
Yeah, you wouldn't.
Okay.
But again, like, I wouldn't also put you in this situation if these were not dog people. But that dog is literally falling asleep right now.
Yeah.
So that's big. Anytime that these guys do something and he looks and he makes a better decision than he normally would do, let him know. Hey man, good stay.
Okay.
Yeah. So don't be afraid to do that, but you don't want to go over the top and go, good stay. And then he's like, oh, I'm done? Like that. See how he's like immediately perked up? So you just want to like almost soothe him over a bit when he sees somebody and he's like, I'm just going to chill. This is better. And you're like, good stay. You kind of like soothe it over because he's trying to make better decisions in life.
Yeah.
And he's making better decisions in life. And it's your job to be able to like compound that and be like, that's what I'm talking about, man. That's what we've been looking for.
Yep.
So right now he's like, man, this is great. This is much better. I feel better. I don't feel like I need to check everyone's IDs. And so you want to like layer over, like, Good, 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 good. So it's your job to kind of advocate for him to just make sure that when people come in, you just say, hey, here are my rules, and like,
Okay.
and you're gonna get a lot of like he's friend, except like the people who are good with him, you do your thing. But I'm just saying like people that because this is gonna be a new leaf for you, so you're gonna feel more confident to have people in. You're gonna want to have people over and have people in, and you're just gonna tell them like, hey, just ignore my dog. Like he's a little iffy with new people, and it's best if you just don't even pay attention to him.
Okay.
Now,
Yeah.
if they do, and they go over, and then he freaks out, that's on them. And you're like, man, now I have to put my dog away because he didn't listen to me.
Yes.
So
Okay.
a lot of times people will just selfishly do that,
Yeah.
where they love dogs, therefore they must touch, and it's like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm confused.
And I
told
think
you
with,
not to.
especially with little fluffy dogs, people don't expect that they're gonna.
Right, and that's what Abby and I were talking about. Is like so many people have been like, "Can you make a small dog video?" I'm like, I don't get them. I don't get them in. Like I don't work with them because people just don't care that they're like this sometimes.
Yeah.
And because if they're not like an initial danger to human race, people are just like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
So anyway,
You're a great dog
Oh.
mom.
yeah, it's almost like dogs will just be like,
Yeah.
where they're like, thank you. I didn't know what to do. I thought I was supposed to do this. Now you're telling me I don't have to? Man, that is a relief. That's
Yeah.
what I feel like I see dogs do is when they're really, really, really reactive towards me and they're freaking out and I'm just like, hey, quit the shit, move on. I'm good. I'm not going to touch you. I'm not going to look at you. Let's just walk. And they're like, oh, thank God. Like, that's all I wanted to do anyway. Like, as
Yeah.
long as you're not, it's really nice.
It is. I mean, his body language is definitely different.
Chilling.
Yeah.
But I think, and like I said before, it's like when we talk about these situations, I can tell you what I think is going to happen. And a lot of it did play out the way that I thought it was going to play out. And we're going to continue because, later tonight is, one thing I find that dog owners do is celebrate these little wins, right? Big, all right, cool, this is great. Was that like the first time you had that many? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. So you want to celebrate that like, hey, I just had people over and I didn't, have my dog freaking out.
Yeah.
Really cool. It kind of gives you your life back a bit.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, now this is cool. Now I know what to do. If I can do this, like I said earlier, if you can make that little progression, you can continue to gain steam.
Yeah.
So here's the important part is I don't want you to think that it's like, okay, he's never going to do this again. And I know you don't.
Yeah.
I know you don't. All I'm saying is if he does something again or he barks or if I get up right now and he barks at me, don't like lose your mind over it.
Okay.
That's what a lot of people do.
Yeah.
When I'm working with them and when I'm here, that's why you see like the dog shape. I am directing everything. You do this, now do this, now hold it here. Now you get up because I've seen this picture thousands of times. And I've devoted my whole life to it, and I know what to do, when to do it, what to say, what not to say, etc. For the most part. So and that's what happens is that people like if I leave, and tomorrow I say, hey, how was your evening? Was he tired? And you're like, well, my sister came in and he barked. And it's like, hey, that's okay because look at everything else we just did.
Yeah.
It's okay. So it's one thing I will say is I see that deflate people is like. Because you've been looking for progression and change and you've been looking for this dog like this for so long, you forget how much progress you just made. And if they regress just a little, sometimes it deflates people. And I don't want that to happen.
In reference to that, so like say, okay, now you leave for the evening and my sister does come in. So my sister, sometimes, especially if I have the gate up, she'll just let herself in, right? Mm-hmm. And then I'll know she let herself in because I hear the barking and running, right? So now if she just lets herself in instead of ringing the doorbell or knocking, like how we've been practicing, so I don't put him in place first, should my first thing when she comes in be to take him to place? Like if she lets herself in and he starts reacting? Okay.
Yeah, you would take him and put him into his place. Ideally, in the next couple of weeks, as you're training with him, it would be really nice if she can say, hey, I'm here. So you're ready, and I know that that's not the sisterly thing to do.
No, I can ask her to do that. I've actually, when I was in training with him before, I asked her to do that, and she listened, and then I think she just forgot.
Or just say knock.
Yeah, I'm going to tell her.
And it's not even about, like, obviously, it's your sister saying, I don't want you in. It's just, like, I need to prepare.
Yes.
Because he's working on things.
Yeah.
So, like, again, if somebody knocked right now, he would probably be a little vocal, but now you have a plan.
Yeah. Okay.
And like I said before, and that's why I said what I said, is we can't have unrealistic expectations of him never barking again when people come in. He's going to do that tonight, tomorrow, and the next day.
Okay.
That's okay. But he's not going to proceed. He's not going to do that. The barking is going to get better. The barking is going to be limited. The barking is going to be very little compared to where it was. But for him to never say anything again when he thinks somebody's here is not fair.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
I know that you know that, but just don't take it as like, oh, we're moving backwards. You're not moving backwards. You've moved so far ahead that even if you did move a little backwards, you're still so far ahead.
Okay.
It's like, if you don't have $100 and I gave you $100 and I'm like, I just need $1 back, you're like, oh. Like, hey, you still have 99 bucks. You're good. You're up. So anyway, so that's one thing I always see, and I've actually, until right now, I've never told people because I don't want to like, I just don't want you to have one thing happen and you're like, oh, we're back to square one. You're not. You're way above that now.
Okay.
So anyway, so I'll let you, if you want, I'll let you hang on to that leash, and if you feel like, hey, that's a leash for you, I'll just give it to you.
Awesome.
And you can use it.
So I'll use
in the
this to
future.
practice with him
Yeah.
tonight. Okay.
So now, we have, so basically here's how I look at these training sessions, is we have 2 days, right?
Okay.
And so there's obedience and then there's behavior. Behavior you can pretty much hit head on, where you're like, hey, we got to start changing things, right? Right now, we got to start changing. Obedience is like, here's an outline, but it takes like behavior, and then obedience is like this slow, like behavior is like this. Obedience is like slow.
Okay.
Because you're learning new exercises, you're learning new things, you're teaching him new behaviors, teaching him new things, you're learning a new language. So that's what you have to practice. You have to work on the place. And I'm really glad that you brought up that he's not getting the place yet. And it's like, he's not supposed to.
Yeah.
We've only done it 15 times.
Okay.
Sometimes it takes dogs 150 times to do it.
Yeah.
So do you feed him kibble? Or do you
Yeah.
feed him?
So he eats kibble in the morning and then wet food at night.
Okay, great. So in the morning, does he like his kibble, or does he kind of pick at it?
He kind of picks at it.
Okay, so what I would do is I would get any type of treat that he loves,
Okay.
preferably like something that like squishes. Like
Okay.
these treats normally squish, but they're
I have squishy treats too.
if you can
Yeah.
get some squishy treats that he really likes, all it is his name. This goes for any template behavior. His name, the behavior, good that behavior, and if not, just a little bit of leash pressure.
Okay.
And right now, we're not going to overwhelm him. He knows sit, he knows down. Now we're just adding place and stay.
Okay.
And I'll bring my long line tomorrow, and we'll be able to work on stay. So with my long line, I only brought my 15-footer, but you'll be able to like hold him from here.
Okay.
And then I think ultimately, if you were to say, okay, after this weekend, what would be like big goal, big training thing would be probably remote collar.
Okay.
Like e-collar work, because it's beautiful, because you're going to be able to say, go to your place and give him pressure, not a correction. You're going to be able to give him actual pressure to the place command until he gets there, and it's going to shut off.
Okay.
Right? So it's beautiful. I mean, I've done it so many times with so many dogs, and it's been such a wonderful tool. And with you'll be able to say, go to your place and sit, stay, and if somebody comes in, you can give him pressure from sitting down. It'll
Okay,
change
yeah, that
the
would
game.
Be great. Yeah, that is.
It just takes a little bit more time, and I can show you how to do it. I have one with me.
Okay.
I can show you how to do it. I can introduce it with him, and then in the future you can either do it by yourself, or maybe I know somebody that trains in this area,
Oh, okay.
and he'd be a great trainer for you.
Yeah.
I can give you his information. He can help you transfer all of that stuff. But that would be like the next step,
Okay.
is like really helping him out with that, because I think that would be like your next step. So if you're sitting there and you're watching TV, or you're reading a book, or you're on the internet or whatever, and your sister does come in, you can put him into a place from there, and then be able to correct him and or give him pressure, communicative pressure from there, whatever you decide to do, if he gets off. And
Okay.
that will also really help him with his confidence. Because right now, basically what had happened, we corrected him for the BS, and we also gave him a job, which gave him confidence and this.
Yeah.
Why you had collectively 5 new people into the room. Beautiful. So from that, it was really just like, and again, I want to keep saying this for some reason, but it took that off the table for him. He's
Okay.
like, I don't have to do that anymore. That's great. Sweet.
Yeah.
I can sleep. cool. That's what he's thinking. Like, he's over there, he's like looking at these guys, he's like, this is way better, I'm just chilling. And that's what I wanted from him. And so the e-collar like heightens that.
Yeah.
Where you're like, not only do you know place and stay with lots of distractions, but now I can touch you anywhere in the apartment, outside. The beauty of the remote collars is it's nice to do in here.
Yeah.
But it's even nicer when you let them off leash because you can control them too.
Okay.
So it's a whole thing, right? It takes about a week and a half, 2 weeks to really get that down.
Okay.
And like I said, I can give you information to another local trainer
Yeah, that would
that
be
can
great.
help you with that.
That would be really great.
Yep. What do you think? Cool?
Look at you, buddy. Look at you, sleepyhead.
It's very good.
Yeah, it is.
It's very, very good. And what I would do over the next couple weeks too is like, anytime anybody wants to hang out, like, come to my place.
Okay.
Let's work on this. Like, that's what you need more of. Is
Yeah.
you need more of what we did. Like I said, we just got lucky with that crew because they, just worked out. But if we didn't have that, I wouldn't have been able to really go the full length with you on like, what are we gonna do when somebody comes in he doesn't know? Now we know.
Yeah.
It's huge. I mean, it's great for me to see. So I just realized they forgot their mic. Anyway, mics are funny. Everyone so they mic'd me up. She has me mic'd up, and like
They're easy to forget.
they're easy to forget.
Yeah, I mean, I forgot that I would have it too.
Forgot to put it on me too.
Yeah.
So, any questions? He's cook, so I just want to do any Q&As that you have.
No, the big question was with my sister, but I'm just gonna tell her for the time being, knock or give me some indication that she's outside. But like eventually with time, I'm assuming that he'll just associate and start calming down a little when she comes in.
Yeah, but she also has to be involved in the training.
Okay.
Like she can't come in like a, what's up? And then he's like, losing his mind. Like,
Okay.
see how they came in?
Yeah.
They were here for you, not
Yeah.
for him. So if somebody comes in for him, and they're like, "Where's your dog? Well, where is he? What's he doing? Why is he barking at me? Why is he growling? Why is he doing this?" Like that's gonna amp him up more.
Okay, so that is actually, I'm really glad that you pointed out. That's a huge thing because sometimes she will come in here just because she wants to pet him or play with him. So
And that's okay if he's like in a good state of mind. Like if she came in and he rolled over, do whatever you want with him.
Yeah.
But like don't come in and if he's barking, like get him more amped up, or if he's barking, don't like, what's wrong? It's okay. Like it's like what we were talking about earlier is teaching him.
yeah.
I don't want to teach him, like, don't teach him that. We're trying to, like, I want him like this when people come over,
Yeah.
not, like, opposite.
And do you suggest that she, like we were just discussing, should she do some work with him?
Yes. Anybody that is going to be part of his life
Okay.
would have great benefit in working with him.
Okay.
Anybody. Like,
Great.
your parents, your sister, whatever. Like, if they're going to be involved with him, it's almost like you have a new page here.
Yeah.
Right? You're starting something new with him. You're developing something new with him.
Yeah.
And it would be great for you to have an opportunity to say, hey, you work with him. Like you give him give him that confidence,
Yeah. Okay, that's great. Yeah, that would actually be really great because she babysits him and stuff. And sometimes when I like have to leave for a couple hours and he's with her, I get worried that he might react at something or she might not realize that she's doing something that would make him react.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's just like, that's what I was saying before, is like, that's part of your advocacy of like, you have to advocate for him.
Yeah.
He doesn't know what's good for him. That's why he created the thing in his own head about what he should do.
Okay.
So you have to say, hey, I think that this is going to be best. Why don't you just come in and ignore him? Okay. But if he's cool with your sister and likes your sister and whatever, then you could also work on the place, sit, stay when she comes in. That would be like same obedience, but just different type of spectrum of the outcome of his behavior.
Okay.
Like when strangers come in, he's like, I got to check out who you are. When she comes in, he may be like, woohoo, she's here. But you need to be like, yeah, but I said stay regardless. And that's what I'm saying is like obedience overcomes and overpowers everything. If you want to eat somebody or you want to go lick somebody, when I tell you this is what you have to do, you still have to do it.
Yeah.
No matter what. And again, he'll be checking in with you. And that's what he did over here. Abby even mentioned, I have that same lamp. Target maybe? I don't know.
Target.
Yeah. So Abby even mentioned like when they left, he kind of went over to his bed and looked at you.
Yeah.
And that may have been like a turning point for your relationship, and the first time he actually looked at you for advice instead of just acting.
Okay.
He's like, what do we do here? You've been telling me what to do, now what do I do?
And if he like looks to me like that, do I give him a command, or if I'm just
You
chilling?
can give him a command, but you can also like enforce it, like, hey man, good, you know, he's engaging. He's asking you like, what do I do? And you can encourage that. Like sometimes we'll do like, yeah, good boy, and like tell him like, you want to encourage him looking at you for direction.
Okay.
Because if he's looking at you, he's not taking things into his own hands.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
Okay. All right.
Yay.
I just want to take a nice cruise around, work on some stuff. I mean, he's not a big leash puller, right?
He doesn't normally put on a leash, but there are times. I can actually also show you when we go back to the building. There's like certain corners or like ways that he'll fight me on going on, and I don't know why.
Interesting. But that's the only time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or a dog.
Right. So one thing that I mean, I want to see how he does on the harness with other dogs and stuff.
Yeah.
But one thing you could do in the future is you can use your slip out here too.
Okay.
Yep, because that's going to give you that control. It's going to give you that leverage. Like if he does have a reaction, you're going to be able to give him a correction, just like inside.
Yes. So yeah, I brought it out today to see if like you wanted to work with.
Yeah,
it.
I kind of want to see how he is without it.
Okay.
Just, I want to see it, you know, because I feel like if we put that on, we may not see it, which will be good. But I also want to try to see it, you know? I want to see his realest form of reacting. So that's why I want to keep the harness on for right now and see if we can get his normal reaction to other dogs.
Okay, so I had another trainer who like told me not to like let him stop and sniff whenever he wants.
For me, what I do is I try to tell people like, again, it's going to be work and play basically.
Okay.
So when you want him to work and you tell him to heel, he has to walk nicely. He can still smell, he can still look around, but he can't pull.
Okay.
And everybody's heel is going to be different. But for me and my clients and like you as a dog owner, like all you care about is him not pulling you around and him not going off track of heeling, because then he could go after another dog. So he's more focused on listening to the heel than he is worried about other dogs. Okay. So, and then your break command is on cue. So you say break and then you let him do what he wants. It's the same exact principle yesterday when we told him he has to place and stay in his place until you release him. Because it would be the same principles of like, well, in the house, you don't want him sniffing around and being a dog in your house. You always want him to work. It's like, well, that's not reasonable.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing outside. It's just a different ecosystem. Okay. You have to use different behaviors and different words to get him to work and to get him to be structured with you. And that's what we're going to go over today. There is some merit to somebody saying like you should never let him go and sniff things as he wants. That does mean something, like when he's in a heel, you don't want him to like bounce around on the leash. But if you're constantly like fighting him after he's been in the apartment and then you bring him out here and he wants to be a dog, it's like...
That's what I was confused about, because like right now like, he loves just like stopping and sniffing all
Right.
of these pillars, and I don't really see a reason why
He can't.
Yeah.
Yeah. And until you tell him to heel, and again, it's like every dog is different. So like if you're working with like a competitive dog and you want them to do very competitive obedience, there's so much more structure and limitation to what they can and can't do on the leash. But with him, all you really care about is, hey man, you know, he's not a huge dog, so he's not going to drag you down the road like that lab was yesterday, that one girl.
Yeah.
But what you want to do is just say, walk nicely next to me and don't worry about anything else when you say it, when you command it. Other than that, he's going to be on his break, and then he can do really whatever he wants to do.
Okay.
So it's on you. And I'll, like, the way that I usually explain it is with my own dogs. Like, if I tell one of my dogs to heel, they have to be at my heels on command until I say break. Once I say break, they can be a dog and literally run away from me.
What is your feelings on taking like a dog that has like some aggression towards other dogs to dog parks eventually?
Good question. So when you live in a city environment, dog parks mean a lot more to you than other places in the world. Like a lot of places, people who live in the wilderness who use dog parks, it's like, are you being lazy? Here with him, it's like one of the only options you have to get him to run off leash. Couple concerns when you're dealing with any dog at a dog park is the fact that you don't know the other dogs and you can't trust that people are just going to do the right thing and bring their dog there if they're friendly or not.
right.
Two things for him is he's an insecure dog. So what's going to happen is you're going to open up that gate. He's probably going to put on his brakes, and then he's going to get 10, 5, 15, 7 dogs, and then he's gonna freak out. And then he's not gonna like it.
Yeah.
And then that's that. I mean, you're gonna go to a dog park and he's probably not gonna like it. But my worry is he snaps at another dog because he's fearful, and we know he's fearful, and that's kind of like his defense when he gets nervous. And my fear, because of him being so small, is another dog just grabs him and that's it. Because that'll happen.
And I've
It
heard
could
of other
happen.
Dogs getting like.
He wouldn't last long in a fight, is what I'm saying, because of his size. So my point is like you have to look at the ROI on it, the return on investment of like, if I bring him to the dog park, he gets to potentially meet a couple dogs, but I just don't think he's gonna be a dog park dog. Like there's certain dogs who go to the dog park and they love it.
Do you think something like this is enough walking?
Yes,
Okay.
because that's what I was gonna say is like, if you can just get him to walk on this riverwalk path a couple times a day, especially in the morning, that's all he needs. If there's a dog park and there's maybe 1 or 2 dogs in there, or there's a dog park that is whatever, I mean, you might have an opportunity to bring him in. But as a general rule, the dog park is kind of like a public pool. You're like, I hope everyone's like clean and doesn't like pee in the pool, and like, like it's like you're just assuming that people do the right thing, and a lot of times they just don't. Anyway, so I think my biggest concern, other than him getting completely bombarded and then more insecure about other dogs, because it's not like the best way to meet other dogs. It's kind of like if you're like, I really haven't gone out in a long time and I'm really nervous, and then you walk into a bar and then every single person at that bar gets up and walks over to you and just starts like getting in your face like, hey man, I haven't seen you around here.
Yeah.
Where you been? I'm Timmy, and then like they're like, oh God, so I think and then there's gonna be other people that are like, hell yeah man, I'm Tom. And it's just like, there's gonna be certain dogs that are gonna be completely okay with that, but he's not one of those dogs. Yeah. Some of my clients are like, yeah, I live in Oregon and the dog park. I'm like, why do you go to a dog park in Oregon? Like, you live in Oregon.
Yeah.
Or like, and I understand there's different cities in Oregon too, but I'm just saying, like, if you have access to just you and your dog go on this nice walk on the river, I would just do this. Because he's not like...
So you don't think like he needs to go to like a dog park just
No.
get used to being around a lot?
No, because it's not good structure. It's not good
Okay.
socialization. It's not going to be beneficial for him.
Okay.
Like,
Because
that's not the
like,
best
when I
way.
adopted him, I heard that a lot. Like, oh, like he should be socialized in a dog park. That's how he'll get used to being around dogs.
Yeah,
But when he reacted to dogs, I was like, I can't take that chance.
Right.
I don't know how to handle that.
Well, because if another dog takes that the wrong way and decides to do something about it, he's going to get the short end of the stick because of his size. All the dog training questions, I try to answer on a macro,
Yeah.
but like if I know the dog, I try to answer it specifically to them. And just with him, because of his little attitude and because he's not that socialized, I would not throw him into a dog park with a bunch of dogs he doesn't know. He's going to go, "Row, row, row," and he's going to go after, and then another dog's going to come over and he's just too small to get into a little argument. There are certain dogs that when you go out, you might be able to meet and things might go good, and that's good. Like if you want to do one-on-one with like a really friendly dog, you can trial it to see how it works.
I have on walks had people be like, can my dog
Sure.
come say hi? What is the best approach to that? Because I don't know when he's going to react.
Right. So if you have a dog that is unstable, insecure, and you're iffy on if they're going to do well or not, again, you have to look at the benefits of that potential meet and greet.
Okay.
And if they're like this and they're lopsided, where it's like worst case scenario is like we confirm that he really doesn't like other dogs, like it's just not worth it. If you get like yesterday when we saw the puppies, there was a German Shepherd, like probably like 7-month-old puppy, and then there was the other golden or whatever the heck it was. If you get 2 dogs that are wagging their tail submissively to like come and see him, those would be opportunities for you to be like, let's try this.
Okay.
If you get an adult dog that's really over here like, hey man, I want to see what the fluff's about over here, you might just want to be like, oh, I'm sorry, he's in training or he's nervous, or just kind of pull him away and walk away and just kind of diverge the situation. But I just feel like if you're going to put him up against like, because adult dogs and puppies are 2 different things, obviously, but they act differently too. It's literally like joining a dance with somebody you don't know. You have to just feel it out. What you can do is when you're walking, if it's another dog that is very friendly looking and like a puppy and they're like all about the play, try it. And don't put any pressure on the leash. Just like walk up.
Don't hold him back.
No, don't hold him back because that's
Okay.
gonna build him up more. If your dog is nervous and then you put pressure back. It's like if you had a problem with somebody over there, and then all of a sudden I'm like, hey, it's okay, it's cool. They didn't say anything. They're fine. Like, what'd they say? I'm like, nothing, you're good. Like, it's like, what did they say? It's like, nothing. So you just have to like let him go.
Okay.
Like, because if you hold him back, like right now, if all of a sudden a dog came up and you just sat there and held him back and kept doing this, he's gonna be like, you're gonna build him up more. So if you're gonna do it, do it. But if you're not, don't. Either go all in or don't. You know what I mean? If you see another dog get close and all of a sudden you start cranking on the leash or you start like pulling him away, you're automatically telling him, you're putting pressure.
Okay.
Like if I just stopped you like this, you're like, wait, is there a car coming? Like, is a plane landing? What's going on? Like something's changed because I stopped you.
Okay.
So if you're walking and you start stopping him and moving him around, he's gonna then say, what's the variable here? What's the problem? Boom, dog. Here, just come over here and just keep walking. Okay. Like on this side of the stroller, and don't do anything different than you normally would do.
Pulling to go there.
Let's just see what he does. Because I want to watch his behavior on the harness.
Okay.
Morning. Yep. Let's just keep walking just a little bit. So that's more of a tough guy thing.
Yeah.
And so what you want to do is the same thing we did here. So here, let me see this.
Yeah.
Let's put this on.
Come on.
And then you can take the harness off. And then you're going to do the same thing that we worked on inside. Is you're just going to give him a little correction. Look how little he is. Here, and I'll take this for you.
Okay.
When you're handling him, he likes it over here, whatever.
Yeah.
And that's okay. He can be over here. But when you're handling him, you want to not make it look like a test. Like if you're holding onto the leash and your relationship with your dog is like this, you want to make it as calm as possible.
Okay.
So like if there's a dog coming, which there will be, you're just like this.
Okay.
Right? And you're just walking.
Okay.
It's like, oh, cool. There's Manhattan. Oops, sorry. But walk like that.
Okay.
Nice and relaxed, just like that. Perfect. That's how you want to be. Where before, you're kind of like holding the leash up, you're looking at him, you're testing.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So just be as relaxed as you can. So if he reacts and he goes after another dog, you're going to tell him to leave it and you're going to pop the leash.
Okay.
Just like we did inside. So remember that correction, how beneficial it was?
Yeah.
He's doing the same behavior. It's the same thing.
Okay.
Literally the same exact thing. Stranger danger to another dog. This is how I have to react. I would just like walk and do your normal thing. And it's just one dog. And this would actually be a great opportunity for you to like, I can show you how to do this if you want.
Sure.
Okay,
Yeah, that would actually be really good.
here. And it all depends on the other dog.
Okay.
I'm assuming because this dog is in here, he or she's friendly.
Okay.
But I'll show you like, if you have a situation like this, where you're like, oh, like let's see what happens. So you just come over and just hang out here, and then like, if really this is good for him. So
Okay.
like everyone thinks, like see how he's looking at this dog?
Yeah.
This is good. This is good. Like everyone thinks that socialization has to be, you need to go in there and basically be nose to nose with that dog in order for it to be socialization and beneficial. And that's not it at all. He just needs to be around this dog. Like
Okay.
he can smell that dog from way down there.
Okay.
He knows all about this dog and all the other dogs that have been in here. Good.
Good boy.
So in the future, if it's chill like this and you got like a couple dogs playing, do this. Bring them over here,
Okay.
hang out, and that's it. And you would just, this is it. But the big thing is like this is confidence for you. So like as this dog is playing and doing his or her own thing, everyone thinks that in order to play, in order to succeed in socialization, that they need to go in and play by each other. This is great. Right here is great. Like this dog just being here and being, hi bud.
Hi.
Hi buddy. Hi sweetie.
Look at you.
He's like, why don't you play with me? If this was a restaurant or a bar or whatever, this is it. You wouldn't be like, hey, I don't know you, but like you just wouldn't.
Yeah.
So that's it. I mean, and dogs are like, this dog is, hey, cool, ball. Mom's got ball. I love ball. I don't care about anything else. So this is a perfect opportunity for you to just be. And like I said before, this is as social as dogs need to be. You're here, I'm here, I'm cool with that. But as soon as we have 6, 7, 8 other dogs in here, everything changes. The pack changes, the energy changes. And this is what I was talking about before, is like as far as dog parks go, like if this is your dog park with one other playful dog playing ball, it would be okay. What a lot of dog owners do is when they come into situations like this, they automatically say, hey dog, sit, because they're nervous. Don't do that. Just let him be a dog. Just like let him chill. And like he's not gonna care about this dog, and this dog's not gonna care about him. And even if Baki comes over and says, hey man, who are you? Like let's play role play here. If he came over to smell him, you would actually try to keep the leash nice and tight and say, hey man, this is all you. Figure it out on your own. And then if he gets weird, all you do is you say, hey, come on, let's go. All right, we'll go this way. And then you just leave. You don't have to keep pushing a triangle in a square hole. He's a sweet dog. Why didn't he like Baki? He doesn't have to like Baki. He doesn't know Baki.
Yeah.
They've never known each other. What's the deal? Why are we doing this?
Okay.
But it's a good opportunity for you to just be here. And if he does have a little problem, it's not a big deal. Again, we talked about yesterday, regression, natural regression. It's like anything else in life.
Okay.
It's okay for that to happen. Why don't you just drop the leash and just walk this way?
Okay. Drop it?
Yeah, and just kind of move away from him, and he'll probably just follow you. Bucky! Hey, bud. Now walk with him, and then relax. Yeah, good. Good job, bud. Yes. Oh, what's that? Where's your ball? Go get it. Good girl. Good job. He's not gonna say, hey, all of a sudden I'm, like a friendly dog that's gonna rip around here like some dogs do, and I'm like, that's not him.
Yeah.
He doesn't care to. But again, like this is what I'm saying is, some dog owners are like, hey, come on, be social. This dog's nice. Don't do that. It's like fixed marriage. Like, no, don't do that. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like you don't have to force them to do anything if you don't have to. You know what I'm saying? So it's very, very good. All right, so I would just walk right by and we'll come back.
Okay.
But I want you to practice just walking right by.
Okay.
Good job, big man. Good. So that was 3 dogs. So in the future, we're gonna have even a heel on this, which is gonna make this better. But I wanted to see his behavior without putting any behavior over it. But still, even just like a very organic behavior of like walking by, he did great. So when you're asking him to heel, he's tired and he is grouchy right now with me, so I'm not gonna get him to be able to do a lot. But think about it like a manual transmission. Heel, right? You're putting him into gear, essentially. When you take him out of gear, you have to command him to do that. Brake.
Yeah.
That's why like inside we were working on place and brake.
Okay.
So again, like if my dog was in a downstay right here and she's looking at me and the ball was here and I said, brake, boom, she'd go get the ball, she'd bring it to me. She's on her brake. She's not in a behavior, she's not in a gear, she's free to do what she wants to do.
Okay.
Dogs need that because it's the other end of the spectrum. We talked about positive reinforcement, positive punishment, rewarding, correcting. They need that balance just like we do. A lot of this is your voice inflection. Big's heel, good heel, brake. Those are the 2 on and off switches that you're gonna have when you're walking. So heel, I use a lot for countering reactivity, which means this. If I'm like, hey, I need you to hold my hand when we go forward, but you have a kid that's like obsessed with Mickey Mouse, and they go, oh, Mickey Mouse, and you go, hold my hand. Okay, I'll hold your hand, I know what I gotta do.
Yeah.
But if you're just like, hey, don't do that, they're more amped to like, yeah, but.
Okay.
So you give them something to do. Just like yesterday when we said place, downstay, got it, I know that. So when somebody comes in, they're like, oh, I'm working though, I gotta stay here. It counters that.
So should I just say heel when I see dogs?
You wanna be in a heel when you're passing dogs for the majority of time, but what you don't wanna do is if you see a dog, put him into heel, because then heel represents, hey, there's a dog. Then you're cueing him, right? Like, oh boy, let's heel.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Okay.
Your schedule for healing and work just in general is going to vary significantly. You're walking and maybe you see a dog and you say heel. Now, because of how good he's been with the reactivity, you don't have to heel him past every dog.
Okay.
But the other side of that is if he's healing nice, because I've had dogs heel really nicely and still bark, leave it, just like yesterday. Put him into a place, but he barked in the place. So then what do? You go leave it. Your leave it is your basically disengagement command to say, knock it off. It's like the pillars of basic obedience. Walk nice on a leash, sit, and now you're free to do what you want. Just like we talked about yesterday with, he's not placing good from over here. He shouldn't be. He's not even close to that step yet. You would say, I'm gonna heel him to that light post. And you're saying a Biggs heel, you're gonna get to that light post, you're gonna stop, maybe sit, hold, break, and now he can break. And he can break all the way back to your apartment. That's, people are like, how long do I have to heel? How long do I have to break? That's the beauty of it, is it's up to you.
Good heel.
Yes, exactly.
Big heel. Good heel.
Good, now stop and just put him into a sit.
Sit.
Yeah, we don't gotta tell.
So like if you want, just bring him over here. And then now he's not in, so now he's in his break.
Yeah.
So just let him be a dog.
Yeah, see, he's not. He
Yeah,
would
yeah, it's
normally
good.
react to the
So
bark.
he's suspicious more than anything. So the reactivity and the anxiety and the frustration is taken away. So you see all this?
Biscuit. Back. Come on.
Biscuit, I love it.
Biscuit. Biscuit, come on.
So like see how all of that, and see how relaxed you are?
Yeah.
This is telling him you're good.
Good boy. Leave it.
So the moment you put pressure on that leash, it's gonna change.
This is very interesting.
It is, but it's confidence, you know? That's what it comes down to, is him just learning how to be. And before he was so reactive and so, I don't know what to do with myself. And now that you've taken that away from him to say, hey man, just chill, you're good. Now he has an opportunity to learn. See how he doesn't care about them and they don't care about him?
Yeah.
It'd be different if he was up there like, hey man, checking everybody's IDs. They would have a different, it would be different for him. Because you're relaxed and you're not putting pressure on the leash and you're not giving him a bunch of information he doesn't know, he's cool. So just keep, don't change. See how you're changing? Just keep walking. See how you're reverted?
Yes.
Yeah, just keep walking. See, there you go. Yep, just keep moving. He'll follow you. Now stop for a second and see what he wants to do here. Good. So what I would do is like this. So if he's like, I mean, I don't want you to drag him. So if he gets consistent where he's locking up, like if he budges just a couple times, you just keep moving and he moves. Biggs. So you kind of just, what I want to do is like figure out, okay, well, what do you want to do then? He likes the comfort of the wall for whatever reason. So then you kind of just play it out. Hello. You kind of just play it out like, okay, and you just kind of help him through it. Okay. So you have to have that on and off switch of like, if he's really throwing a fit and he's actually nervous, take some time to say, okay, you want to walk on the wall or whatever.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But like if he's just kind of like bucking a couple times because he's being a little bratty, keep moving forward.